anything? I have not. The degrees of separation are not there. All right. So I have two kind of pre-alpha topics I could go through. They're both going to be bad, so fair warning. I'm going to be a terrible closer, but then you're all going to want an after party, so it's perfect. So show of hands, who wants me to talk about like behavioral economics topics and how communication's important because we're tech people and we suck at communication? That's one. Okay, I see some. The other option is it's probably shorter, so maybe that's a benefit. It's like the best lessons that I've learned myself and that that people that have worked for me have learned from me, which is kind of cool because I texted them all in a panic this morning when Rocky was like, "Oh, you might have to talk." So I could go through that one too, and I want to make sure I reached out to people that I worked with in the past because I might think that stuff is cool, but it's actually stuff that benefited them. So if there's like more juniors, I'll talk about that. If there's more seniors, I can talk about behavioral economics. Both? That was not in the card. You didn't pick my name twice. What do you want? What do you want? Oh, God, I hate all of you. All right. We'll see. If one of them sucks, interrupt me, and they're both going to suck. If one of them sucks really bad, interrupt me, and I'll flip to the other real quick. Let's start with lessons, because it's shorter. All right. I'm counting on you to do that again as soon as I start the other one, then I'm done. All right. Lessons I've stolen and I've given. All right, so first one and big one, probably more for some of the juniors. Be first and make waves, right? So here's the deal. If you're not, I started my career at Deloitte and I was super intimidated out of the gate by like the quality of the brains in the room oftentimes. Thought there was tons of super smart people. It's like you're kind of trained to do that. Oh, it's a great internship in college, whatever. And it was. I'm not trying to disparage anyone here, but it was intimidating, right? And you come out and there's people that have been in the industry forever. And you know, what you end up finding is, I'd have a thought in a meeting. I'd be like, oh, well, why don't we just do this? But I didn't say it. And then I'd get really pissed off 10 minutes later when someone else said it. And I see tons of people nodding. And so if there's anyone here who hasn't learned that lesson, say the stupid thing first. Also, make a ton of jokes. Make a ton of jokes. And here's why. So I remember having this, two reasons. One, it's just like good personal stuff. And like what we do is way more people than technology. You will not convince me otherwise, but you are welcome to try. It's way more people than technology. But make jokes. It's good from a people perspective, but also like sometimes you make a joke. And I remember one of the best managers I've ever had. We're sitting in a room, again, Deloitte days, and I make a dumb joke. And everyone's like, ha, ha, ha. That's how people laugh at my jokes mostly. It's very polite, and I appreciate it. Like, so people laugh, and then someone like starts another half sentence, and the senior manager goes, wait. Say that again. And I say the thing again, and then no one laughs because no one knows what the hell's going on. And he goes, well, wait. No, like, we could actually do that thing. And the point with that is, like, typically good jokes have a kernel of, I'm not suggesting it was a good joke, but typically good jokes do have a kernel of truth to them. And if you're telling jokes all the time, you're thinking differently, you're interacting, oh man, now I'm going to get real confused because I'm going to start to veer into my other talk. But like people are a lot more effective when you're playing. When you're having a good time, when you're interacting, right? And there's a ton of stuff, and it loops into stuff we heard before about improv in a million ways, right? Getting out of your comfort zone, enjoying yourself. That's why IR works really well when it's gamified, like Jeremy was talking about, like all this stuff, right? So the point is, make jokes, play, have fun, and this job, you guys all know, and gals, will drive you absolutely bonkers if you don't. So do your best to have fun, but be first. Say the thing, think a little bit differently, and don't be afraid to joke around because it's going to come up with with cool ideas. This is where I look at my notes, so hang out with me for a second. Rocky, sing a song while I'm looking at notes. That was a B flat from Rocky. Thank you, Rocky. So I guess it's kind of a semi-related lesson. I don't have a story for it, but as far as being first goes, he who's the most prepared wins, right? So I use this all the time. I don't really have a single story because it's crazy important. If you haven't done this yet, I highly suggest it. If there's like a plan on the horizon, like a decision needs to get made, whatever it is, and you're like someone who might have some influence and there are other people that might have some influence. Maybe you have no influence, right? But a decision's going to get made in a meeting. Build the plan. And guess what will happen? When you advertise that plan in the meeting, they're going to do your thing. Because there's going to be one plan, and everyone else is like, well, I came to the meeting to talk about the plan. Well, now they're talking about your plan, and you get it your way. I cannot recommend enough pre-plan stuff, and then it'll get done your way. Probably 30 stories, but I'm not going to tell any of them. But pre-plan, and you'll get your way, because I'm a brat, and I like getting my way. Problem-solving strategies. Again, this gets like being personal with stuff, but or being personable with people. Worst experience in my career, and I've been doing IT stuff for like 21 years and security and compliance stuff for like 17 years. Absolute worst experience. I don't know if and I will name names with this because this pissed me off. Anyone have experience with a product called SandTap? Yeah, none of you. It's trash. It's not a thing anymore. I'm glad it was havoc. So we were doing a data center migration, SandTap, and basically it's, hey, you're dumping a lot of data to a SAN, and you're moving data centers, so let's just kind of fork the data, and it'll go to, sounds like a bad idea, because it is, and that's why no one knows about it. Long story, medium long. What ends up happening is we end up with a 1 week long rolling storage outage in our data center. And no one can solve it. No one can solve it. It was stupid and bad. And but the CIO at the time, we have this big ass war room, and he pulls everyone in the war room, like 40 people in there, and he goes, hey, so I know everyone's really upset. And like on day 2 or 3, it was like, people are going to get fired if you don't fix this. Day 4, the tune changed, right? Like, he's like, okay, I really just need help. But a really cool thing happened. A really, really cool thing happened. And it kind of happened organically, but I'm never going to forget it. We had exhausted like every kind of root cause triage framework for figuring out what the hell's going on. And then at one point, one of the managers goes, I don't know. I'll put $5 on it being this thing. And he writes it on the whiteboard. And someone else was like, no, that's dumb. It's not that thing. If it's anything, it's this other thing. And then 20 more people do it, and all of a sudden there's like 8 avenues that we never even explored. And this gets back to the power of play. Because once all of a sudden we weren't using a formal framework, we weren't trying to figure it out, we weren't trying to do something in a very static way, people were like thinking differently. And guess what? Like number 3 on the list was that SandTap sucked, and that ended up being a thing. Related story, on the tail of that was maybe one of the best moments in my professional career, which is right after the CIO was like, okay, everyone, cooler heads are going to prevail, whatever. Our storage manager was like 5 minutes late because he'd been up till like 4 a.m. or something. It's like an 8 a.m. war room meeting. He comes rolling in, and on the way in, there's like a little side room. And for various reasons, our email administrator was on the phone with the storage company, and he goes, "Oh, I think someone deleted some LUNs." And our storage administrator's walking by, and he hears this, and goes completely ballistic. So the thing about our war room that you should know is a big, long room, and there's a door in the front and a door in the back. So our CIO is like, "Oh yeah, cooler heads are going to prevail, blah, 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 blah." And literally 5 seconds later, our storage, lead storage admin comes in and goes, "Who has access to," and he starts swearing, and he's like, I will murder all of you. And I've never seen it before. And this dude's the CIO and the chief procurement officer and the chief operations officer, because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But he's definitely number 2 at the company, and number 1's in San Francisco, and we're in Pittsburgh. And this dude's had a bad week. Right? He's had a rolling storage outage for a week. No one can fix. And we just see the CIO stand up and quietly back out of the back door. Because what's he going to do? He's not going to destroy the dude that's been working his ass off trying to fix this thing. So anyway, there's no moral to that second one, but it is hilarious. Well, fair enough. No, it got fixed later that day because we did the betting poll and whatever. But and again, I cannot stress this enough. Sandtap sucks. It was actually, Sandtap was a swear jar for the next 3 years at work. All right, so what else? Another kind of funny story, although it's sort of short, probably anticlimactic. But I will remember at my last gig, and some people know this dude, Ron Beckman. He's one of my very favorite people. I walk into work one day and I see Ron, who's our CIO, carrying chairs. And we have kind of a big campus, right? There's a 5-building campus, and there's a couple acres and all this stuff. And he's literally carrying chairs from one building to the other in the morning. And this dude gets up early and he works on a farm and stuff. So he's a hard worker, but, he's carrying chairs one building to the other. And he's doing it, and then I wait till he's mostly done. I'm like, hey, can I help? But actually, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he goes, oh, well, we're trying to hire some people, and we've been asking facilities to renovate this space for a while. And facilities at this company reported to the CFO. I was okay. Well, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm moving all these chairs. Okay, well, why are you moving the chairs? Oh, well, I asked facilities to do it a week ago, and they didn't do it. Okay, but the storage building's in the other direction. You're walking towards the executive wing. He's like, yeah. I go, what are you doing? He's like, I'm putting all the chairs from this part of the office into the CFO's office. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, I'm piling 56 chairs into the CFO's office. It's oh, okay. I don't want to help you anymore. Because that sounds like a dangerous career move. And he ends up doing it. And I remember being in his office when he got the call from the CEO, and the CEO was like, what the hell are you doing? He goes, oh, I moved. He's a very honest dude, Ron, if you know him. So, I moved 56 chairs into the CFO's office, and then the CFO came along and I had to stop. He's like, well, why? He's like, well, we asked him to do this thing a week ago, whatever. But the point is, again, in the concept of making waves, the very next day, that entire part of the office was done, renovated, facilities did their thing. So take no shit is the point, right? Take no shit. And if you need to piss off a few people, there's such a thing as good pain, right? Another related story, same company. And I don't know if you and Bollinger and the rest were there at the time, but there was a horrible couple days where we, due to some compliance reasons, had to roll out multi-factor authentication in 3 days to a global organization, and it sucked. I think it was after you left. It was, yeah. Oh, it was after that, but it was, yeah. It was due to a lot of money that we would have been left on the table if we hadn't done this thing in a terrible way. Oh, God. Yeah, it's a terrible real life scenario. But the point is, we did the thing. We built the plan, and half a day we had the plan, we communicated to the organization, and we gave everyone the ability to self-enroll and all that stuff. And in 3 days, when only 80% of the company had done the thing, folks on my team were freaking out. Right? They're like, oh my God, we've been doing 20-hour shifts, getting MFA rolled out to everyone because we were on top of it because we knew we couldn't be the holdup, right? If that was on us, we'd be gone later that week. So we ultimately what happens, so 80% of the company enrolls. That means 20% of the company, 1/5 of the company, that's a lot of the company, isn't going to be enrolled in MFA when we flip the switch and make it live. That's going to be a problem, but it's not going to be my problem. Because here's the thing. We gave everyone a path. We let them self-enroll. Every single day, we were hounding people on stuff to do. Now, I will say, it was not our problem that night. It was our problem the next morning. But I was not going to work overnight. Yes? Manufacturing and services. Yeah. People were pissed. Right? And then I forwarded them all 3 emails. Like we had a boilerplate. All 3 emails of what they had. And I would copy their manager on it. Yeah. Take no shit. But here's the thing. The fact here is there's a concept of good pain, right? People are super, super, super change resistant. Crazy change resistant. If you give them a path and they still don't do the thing, that's not your emergency that night. It's potentially your emergency the next morning. I made no one work that third night at all, but the next morning, we got everyone set up and things were fine. And the next time we had to do kind of an emergency rollout, wasn't an issue. People listened. They knew we were going to do the thing. So, highly recommend it. And, but a little bit of pain's a good thing because people are going to be resistant to it. What else? Oh, I'm going to tell the story now about how I took money away from my wife. It was before she was my wife. And she still married me, which means I must be cool. But how much time do I have left? All right, we're still okay. Oh, God. We're going to bring drinks up here if that's the case. So this is several jobs ago. We have basically there's a dude on my team that's super instrumental, and this dude's awesome, and I try and poach him every single job I go to because he's just fantastic. He's in my Rolodex, and I'm really upset because I recently reached out to him, and he's like, oh, no, my new company's treating me really nice. Everyone has that voice when I'm mocking them, by the way. But the company's treating me, and I'm happy for him, but I'm also like a little bit pissed off that he's not going to come work for me again. Regardless, he's awesome, and I can't do my thing without him. And this dude's like, look, man, I just want like $2 or $3 grand more a year. Just get me to like an even number, do the thing, off cycle raise. And there's like a lot going on. He's done a lot recently. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go to bat for that. And the company's like, nah, not going to do it. I guess long story short, I throw a complete fit. Not knowing that my current wife, who worked there at the time, was on deck for a raise. And money is a zero-sum game. So I throw a fit and end up basically getting, that weekend, I get a call from the CEO, which I did not expect. So, like, I was very lucky. I get a call from the CEO, hey, we're going to give you a little more money. I'm like, that's cool, but, like, I'm not going to say no, but I really need, like, my buddy to have some money. And the way I threw the fit before, I guess this is an important component, I said, take it out of my salary. Because you might as well fire me right now if this guy isn't on my team. And all he's asking for is $2 or $3 grand. So that resonated, which was cool. And, if you're willing to go to bat for your people like that, they're going to stay in your Rolodex. It's a fact. I'll tell you, I've made that threat twice in my career, 20-year career. I really don't want to ever do it more than once every 10 years. But I highly recommend you pull out that card if you truly believe in a person. Because it'll really send a message. And if they take it from you, look, you still kind of win because the person on your team is going to get what they need. And it also will tell you a very important thing about the company you're working for. But both times I've made that threat, I've been successful. This time, CEO calls me on the weekend. Hey, we're going to give you some more money. Okay, I need money for my buddy. Okay, my buddy's going to get money too. I say buddy. He worked for me. It doesn't matter. So what I find out the next day is some promotions were delayed, one of which was my wife's promotion. And I hear about that all the time now. Whenever we're going to buy new things. Anyway, that's a story. But the point is, go to bat for your people. But also kind of be aware of some of the unintended repercussions when you really throw a fit. Because you might get what you want, but it might, there's going to be potentially some political consequences. You need to be willing to pay for them. I still think it was the right thing. I just think that the company didn't really tell me they're going to take money from someone else. What else? I have a couple downers. I'm not going to bring the room down too much. Talk to me over beers if you want to hear other good lessons, but they're sad. How many people here think meetings are the best tool for getting things done? I see one. No one else. Get things done in general. So this is why meetings are my favorite tool for getting things done. Because in all my meeting invites, I say, by the way, if you do the bullshit before we have the meeting, we don't have to have this meeting. And you know what always happens? The bullshit is done before the meeting occurs. Not a huge lesson, but it is a trick I use literally always. And I highly recommend others use this trick. Dude, threats work. Well, you have to pick your... it's a generous threat. It's charismatic evil. You gotta you make it sound like a favor, right? Because you've already, the secret, you've already taken their time. It's already scheduled on their calendar. So now they're like, oh shit, I don't want to do this thing. So you've already done the bad thing. You're giving them a path out of the bad thing. So anyway, highly recommend it. Yeah, extortion works. Yes. See ransomware conversations earlier. All right, we talked about that. Hire lazy people. Yeah. Hire lazy people. So, brutal. So, I mean, there's a Bill Gates quote about this, but I actually didn't know the Bill Gates quote before I was talked to a bunch of people about this. But the point is, lazy is basically the bad connotation of efficient. If you hire some smart people that want to do not a lot of work, they're going to find a way to do not a lot of work. And that usually means creative automation. That usually means cool process changes. That usually means a bunch of neat things that you might not have thought of because hopefully you're trying to be lazy in your own way. So hire lazy people. I think that's all the good stuff I have. I can keep going, but that's it. Goodbye.
Keep it going for Rick Yocum.
Thank you.
All right. We're good at this point. Hey, first of all, I want to thank everybody for actually just coming out. Give yourself a round of applause. I want to thank Snow and Alex Cott for coming in and doing our keynotes. Round of applause for Snow and Alex Cott. I want to thank everybody who, is probably a little annoyed with me for pulling their name out of a bucket. Give them a round of applause for actually doing it. I want to thank our sponsors, Trusted Sec, presenting sponsor, Ethical Intruder back there, CrowdStrike, and Guardicore for making this happen, for making this weird little event happen. What was it? We think that we know, yeah. Maybe the first in-person BSides, yeah, since the pandemic. So, what we're going to do now is if everybody could just kind of help out, pick a couple of chairs, fold them up, and we're going to take them over here where the shirts are kind of hung over there and just, get a couple of volunteers to help stack. See Rick fold. And then everybody who wants to hang out, for another couple of hours, we're going to get some food downstairs. We still have some, I believe we still have some of the keg open, or not open, but left. And we're just going to chill out for a couple hours. So thank you, everybody, for coming to BSides Cleveland 2021.